Welcome to the Doo Divas Smells Like Money podcast. I'm your host, Suzanne Chin Taylor, CEO and founder of Creative Raven, the firm that helps wastewater industry contractors and manufacturers unlock the power of digital marketing, AI, and PR to boost sales and opportunities. Whether it's through our online marketing and lead generation programs or providing a fully outsourced marketing department, we are passionate about helping businesses in the wastewater and civil infrastructure sectors not just survive, but thrive in today's digital world. Each episode, I'll be bringing you expert tips and strategies to help you grow and succeed. Let's dive in. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Doo Divas Smells Like Money podcast. We are continuing our visit with Steve Statema, co-founder of So Safe Equipment and inventor of the PowerLift manhole cover lifter. So for those of you who did not catch last week's episode, you definitely want to go back and tune in to learn more about this incredible safety tool. And what we're going to be talking about today is just that, safety tools, like the one that Steve invented, but other things that you may have spent the money on to equip your team, harnesses, confined space, gas meters, whatever, PPE, whatever that may be. But as Steve alluded to in our last conversation, is that the best safety tools are the ones that get used. And that can be an issue for a lot of teams. They know, but they're trying to get the job done. And they think if I, cut the corner and don't do this or don't use that, I'll get the job done faster. But when they do that, are they really getting the job done faster, or are they putting themselves at risk? Are they putting themselves at risk for injury? And it was injury on the job. You were using a tool, but you were maybe not using the right tool that created a serious injury for you, which basically, what is it? Necessity, the mother of invention, is that you needed to find a better way to do what you were doing because you didn't want to risk injuring yourself. And so I want you to share with the audience your experience as someone from a city is that you want to do the best by your crew. You want to give them tools. But how do we get past the resistance? How do we get the buy-in? How do we get the team from point A to point B of, oh God, that's such a pain in the, using it to, wow, I don't know how I ever lived without this, and every step in between. So with that, I'm going to turn the floor over to you, Steve.
Sounds good. So I work at a municipality, and I just remember, I've been there 10 years, 13 years now. And I remember when I started just seeing different safety tools laying around. Specifically when we're out in the streets and whether it was barricades or cones or, tools to lift manhole lids or whatever, what you recognize really quick are the tools you use are the ones that are on top. You know what I mean? So when they're in the back of your pickup, the tools get used most often. They're always the most easily accessible because you just had them out last, right? And so I kind of saw that right away. It's like, well, we had a specific tool to lift manhole lids, but it was in the bottom of the truck, so it was so inconvenient to get at that it never was gotten.
Right.
And so you use the same tool that you always use, and again, it was a correct tool at the time until it wasn't. And so, again, like you said, it goes into like the confined space, it goes into, harnessing. It's all of this. It's like, I'll just be blunt.
Please do.
I think you just really need to be humble when you're in the industry and realize like you're not indestructible and you matter. Those two things. You matter to someone. And so it's like, if you don't put the harness on, if you don't calibrate your air monitor, if you don't put the cones out that are supposed to be out, the barricades. If you're not using the right tools to lift the lids, you may think that you're saving time until you're not, because it just takes one incident and it can really flip your whole life upside down.
Yep.
If in best case scenario, you'll come out of it. The worst case scenario, you'll be a statistic. Either way, you'll be a statistic. It's just like, so again, it's like, I think we just need to take a long look at our safety and our practices, the tools that we've been using or haven't been using, and really, is there something better out there? I would say one of the things I hear most is like, there are other tools out there for lifting lids that, are easier. It's like, well, I'm not going to argue. You could, before there was a chainsaw, there was an axe, and the axe did the same thing. It cut a tree down, But when the chainsaw came in, everybody switched to chainsaws because they were more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to look at our tools. Like, are we using the most efficient tool that is actually the safest for our employees and safest for me as an employee? And so, sometimes safety tools just need to get put away and get something different. So.
And I also like that concept you were saying about the tools that you use are the ones that the easiest to get to. And maybe it's something just as simple as reorganizing the truck in a priority way, that those tools that can be most beneficial, not so much for productivity, but for preventing and protecting you against injury, be put in the most accessible and easy to get to spots. Just a small incremental change, she was pointing that out. It's like a small incremental change like that could really make a big difference in the tool getting used.
Absolutely. Again, it's like, when your truck is not in order, you're less likely to actually use the correct tools that you should with any job.
Right.
You'll just pick the thing that this should work, until it doesn't work. And now we have other discussions that need to happen.
Right. So now when you're talking about, and this is important because we talked about getting from that point A to point B, you got a crew and they've always done certain things. This is the way we've always done it. And now all of a sudden, you've introduced a new safety device, a new protocol, a new practice. And of course, nobody likes change. We all resist it. It's just human nature. We don't like it, even when it's good for us. So what have you seen in practice? Things that you've done to help foster the buy-in and get people, without strong arming someone and saying, you will use this or I'm going to dock you. You don't want to, nobody likes an ultimatum. There's got to be a way to get people on board and bought in. And so I'd love for you to share some of the things that you have found have worked for you as a team leader to get people to use those things that they need to use for their own good.
Well, one thing I don't shy away from is telling my story, meaning of my injury. So everybody I work with, they know what happened and how it not just impacted my employee, but impacted me and my family. So that's one point. I like to make it personal because, like, if people don't put themselves in your shoes, it's hard to grasp that concept.
Okay? Right.
Number two, if I find a better safety tool and I suspect it's better, I'll let them use it. So it's like, if I have to get a demo in so somebody can try a different tool, and let's get a demo in, let's have a discussion about it. Like, what do you like about it? What don't you like about it? Usually if we can get somebody to come in and they can test the tool, they'll understand the benefit of it, and then it's easier to get buy-in that way. Just like, I prefer to test drive a vehicle before I buy one.
Sure.
And it's that same concept. So,
And I think it's also that way with the crew. It's not just a manager coming in saying, here, use this. I got it for you. It's that if they're made part of that purchasing and assessment decision, you're absolutely right. They're going to be more excited about the buy-in.
absolutely.
At the end of the day, you want to get that person, like we said earlier, from point A to point B of to, oh, God, where's my XYZ? Because I can't leave the shop without that XYZ thing because I'm going to be doing this, that, and the other. It becomes an integral part of, when we think about cell phones, I'm of an age where I remember you had to go to the one on the wall and it actually dialed without giving it away. I mean, it was before. I remember how excited we were when we got our first push button phone, but where it was like, and now we're all walking around with one of these, in our hip pocket. Dear God, some of us can't even go to the bathroom without taking our phone into the bathroom with us. It's pretty sick. But we just think it's almost like we have to make safety tools almost to that level where I do not want to work out there without it.
Yes. Well, and the best example I can give is honestly our product, the power lifter. Here's why.
Tell me about that.
On a it's a hitch mounted battery, power tool battery powered manhole lid lifting system. So prior to that, our typical day of maintenance, we go out in the morning and we maintain the collection system during the day. Prior to that, I could maybe do around 20 services a day, 20 different spots. With this, it has increased our productivity. I don't even know what the ROI is. I'll do 45 a day.
Wow.
I
So
mean,
you
it just
doubled your capacity
absolutely,
just with the right tool. So besides the
absolutely.
safety tool isn't just about safety.
No, right now, I'm having a discussion with, management. It's like, do you understand what when you have the right tool, what can that can do to productivity within your crew? I mean, it's astronomical. So it used to take us 4 weeks of, flushing our city. We're doing it in two.
Wow.
And so when you gain an extra 2 weeks in the fall in Minnesota, it's really important, because we can go from 50 degrees to, 18 inches of snow in a heartbeat here,
You
you
mean you
know.
actually get fall? Because according to Garrison Keeler, you go from non-winter 3 weeks to winter, and that's it.
Oh, I love Minnesota. We get all four seasons, but but again, you can wake up and there's a bunch of snow, and so again, what? Sometimes would our maintenance schedule get us into that winter, beginning of winter part.
Right.
Now you're dealing with icy roads and other traffic conditions out there. When you're in the street doing your work, now we just shorten that up, and so like, yeah, we're already done, and it's just faster, it's safer, it's easier. Like I've lifted one manhole lid in a year and a half. One.
And why did you have to
Manually.
have one? Pardon me?
Manually, I've lifted one.
Manual. What made you have to do it manually and not be able to use the tool?
Because I didn't put the lifter on the back of the pickup before I got a
Ah,
sewer call.
ouch. Naughty, naughty. But again, you see, it all
But I
comes
still
from,
had I had the old tools in there and I
thank
utilized
goodness.
them.
Yep.
But it was an emergency sewer call, and it's like, well, I'm gonna get over there.
Yes.
And I just remembered thinking to myself, man, I'm glad I don't have to do this anymore. I
Oh, I
mean,
bet.
no, it's huge. So,
Yeah.
but again, I bring that back around. You know, I'm using an example of our lifter. Now, I know that there are other safety products out there that will, your crew will be safer. Your ROI on it for management is huge. And so I think it's a good moment in time with how much and how fast technology is changing to take a step back from the old ways that we've been living. It's like, is there a better mousetrap out there? You know, are we in a season for this specific tool that's going from an axe to a chainsaw? You know what I mean?
That's a great analogy. Great analogy. So for those who might want to learn more about this product and just like safety in general, how can they get a hold of you?
So you can go to our website, shopsosafe.com, and all of our information's on there for our product. And another product that we have featured on there that I totally believe in because we deal with manuals. So it's we just have great products on there. So yeah, they can go to our website.
That's excellent. Well, Steve, thank you for joining me on the show today. And I think, safety is, sometimes it's an uncomfortable topic to talk about. But at the end of the day, people who work in our industry, most folks don't realize, or they don't want to think about it, is sometimes it can be a dangerous job.
Yes.
You're going into dangerous situations, rough, rugged environments. A lot of stuff can go wrong. There's contaminants, not to mention, physical injury of, lifting heavy objects and things of that nature. And so we as an industry and leaders, we need to do what we can to protect our crews, because we're all having troubles finding people that want to come into this industry as a career. And so not only do we have to protect those that are here, but let those that might be looking at us as a potential career, that we take care of our own.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. They have to know that they're going to be safe when they come to work, and also for their families. I have a customer down in Florida, and their mantra is everybody goes home safe every night. And I think that really, that should be across the board, whether you work for a city or a contractor or anything, that everybody needs to go home safe every night.
Absolutely.
So, again, Steve, thank you for inventing your amazing product and being unafraid to talk about the importance of adopting better tools and looking at that better mousetrap.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you, audience, for tuning in. And until next time, keep it flowing. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If you're ready to take your marketing to the next level and start increasing sales and opportunities for your business, reach out to us at Creative Raven. We're here to help you thrive in the digital landscape. Visit creativeraven.com or click the link in the show notes below to schedule a call and learn how we can support your growth. If you enjoyed the insights on today's episode, be sure to hit subscribe so you'll never miss an update. Until next time, keep growing and keep it flowing.